Live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for December the 4th, 2020, as the road to WWE TLC continues. Shout out to everybody in the chat room watching this live. I appreciate your viewership and support as always. And thank you to everybody watching this on demand as well. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, tell a friend, and just spread the word in any way possible. It would be very much appreciated. Let's get going. We kicked off SmackDown with a 10-bell salute to Pat Patterson, just like what we saw on NXT, only it was the SmackDown roster, and Vince McMahon was there front and center, along with Pat Patterson's longtime friend Gerald Briscoe, who gave a very touching tribute to Patterson in a video that was published by WWE earlier today. The video is up on NoDQ.com if you haven't seen it yet. Sergeant Slaughter was there as well. And then we had Kayla Braxton introducing the best of the best, Roman Reigns. Of course, he got that moniker from beating Drew McIntyre. I like that they're using that moniker for him now. So at least we got something out of Survivor Series, right? He did beat Drew McIntyre, and they are keeping us conscious of what happened at Survivor Series. That yes, Roman Reigns did defeat Drew McIntyre, and they're not just acting like, well, we did the match, we're moving on, we're going to act like it never happened. You had Reigns come out with Paul Heyman, of course, and Jey Uso. Heyman had to do a proper introduction, though, because Kayla's introduction was not quite efficient enough. We had a recap shown from last week, and the first question asked to Roman Reigns was, does he fear Kevin Owens? Reigns responded by saying that this was a stupid question. This is the most relevant thing Kayla has ever done, interviewing Roman Reigns, and she blew it with a stupid question. Her second question was, is Roman Reigns using Jey Uso as a pawn? Reigns said, does he look like a man that manipulates? And he once again said that Kayla had a stupid question and asked Paul Heyman to handle this, quote, amateur. Heyman talked about how Jey Uso has been main eventing SmackDown for the past several weeks. Ratings have surged with Jey in the main event. All of a sudden, we had Kevin Owens, KO, come to the ring. And Owens said he did not want to wait till later to fight Roman Reigns. There was a tag team match scheduled as the main event. Otis and Kevin Owens teaming up against Roman and Jey. Owens proposed a tables, ladders, and chairs match for the pay-per-view, which Roman Reigns did accept, but told Owens that they're not going to fight right now because there's a lady in the ring and Reigns is a gentleman. He took his leave, and then Owens got on the mic and said, Reigns is not a gentleman. He's a bitch. And that set up our main event. Very, very good segment to open up the show, in my opinion. Dominic says, I don't know how much longer Jey Uso can take this from Roman Reigns. Well, I think the key to what happens next with all this will be when Jimmy is cleared to wrestle again, and that will be when this storyline takes its next turn. But my feeling is maybe Jey will go on the verge of turning against Roman when Jimmy talks Jey out of it. Maybe we'll see something like that. And D. Martin the Fifth with a very generous $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, to quote the great Pat Patterson, they absolutely went out there and made him go banana. Hashtag he did it his way. Absolutely. Rest in peace, Pat Patterson. And thank you again for the super chat. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, are Kevin Owens and Otis the new natural disasters? No, I would not go that far, but we'll see if they continue being a team. I doubt it, though. So I would say it's highly unlikely in all likelihood. Haven't used that line in a while. And Nick Lavin says, nice shirt. Well, thank you for that, Nick. I appreciate it. Link to the Past. Classic game, of course. Marshall Leonard says, what is the percentage, in your opinion, of WWE working with another company to rival AEW and Impact Wrestling's partnership? Probably 0.000001 if I had to make a prediction on that. Anyways, back to SmackDown. Roman Reigns was backstage with Jay talking about how there will be consequences because during the opening segment, Jay started to speak, but Owens said that he wants to talk to the head of the table. So for Jay trying to get involved in the conversation, Roman Reigns said that there will be consequences. We had Bayley versus Natalya in our first match of the evening. And we had Bianca Belair on commentary. Not much to really say about this, except for the finish. I mean, it was a pretty standard match, and the finish is what got people talking. Bayley lost, and not only did she lose a very short match, but she lost via submission. She lost to the sharpshooter. Robbie Vice, no DQ Vice, I'm sure, is not happy about this. He's not the biggest Natalya fan. I'm just more upset for Bayley. Like, she was the women's champion for almost a full year. And now she's just jobbing out random TV matches. Like, really? I figured she was going to be moved down the card, but wow. I mean, she's very quickly becoming an afterthought. Maybe that's why people on NoDQ.com voted Alexa Bliss as Superstar of the Year, just because of how WWE has been booking Bayley since she lost the title. So yeah, she tapped out to Natalya. I guess Natalya is going to challenge for the title, the boat, whatever. And we had the original Intercontinental Championship at ringside. Tic Tat Tat says Bayley is the new Kofi Kingston. Worse at this point, quite frankly. Although Kofi did lose in like 7 seconds to Brock Lesnar. But then again, it's Brock Lesnar. We had a video package, the same one that was shown on NXT. I highly recommend checking it out, for Pat Patterson. And then we had a 6-man tag team match. Former Intercontinental Champions Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, and Big E, who had a new entrance, new music, new logo, up against Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Sami Zayn. And the original championship was out there at ringside. Very good match here between these guys. Bryan had a pretty hot start, but then Sami Zayn used his standard tactics to help the heels get the advantage. Big E got a hot tag. He almost scored a pinfall victory, but Ziggler broke it up. And then Zayn hit the Blue Thunder Bomb, which ended the match. No, it didn't. Just wanted to see if anybody for a split second thought that that was the case. No, the Blue Thunder Bomb never ends a match, as you guys all know. Mysterio kicked out of it, and then it was Bryan and Ziggler in the ring exchanging falls back and forth. Bryan got on the yes lock, but Ziggler got to the rope. Zayn came in at this point. He hit a brain buster on Bryan. Bryan countered that into a pinfall, got a near fall, and then Bryan countered another move and finally scored the pinfall victory over Sami Zayn. Yes, Sami Zayn took the fall in this match. The only thing I did not like about it, I thought the match was really good, but did the Intercontinental Champion, you're doing a tribute match to Pat Patterson, and you have the Intercontinental Champion take the fall here. Like, why was Dolph Ziggler not the guy that took the fall here? Other than that, it was really well done match with these guys. Nice tribute to Pat Patterson, except for the finish, in my opinion. The one and only Caleb Jacobs with a $2.38 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. He says, Bayley was the champion for 378 days. So yes, that was over a year that she was champion, and now she's losing to Natalya. Whatever. I guess maybe she's going to do the losing streak gimmick where she has to rebuild her momentum. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Bayley. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, how come the Dolph Ziggler never changed his gimmick? You'd have to ask him that question. You know, he did change his gimmick. He started straightening his hair instead of having it curly. There you go. And after the match was over, the heels wanted the faces to get back in the ring and fight, which they did. Faces cleared the ring. Ziggler tried to apologize and make amends with everybody, but they saw right through it. Ziggler got beat down, hit with everyone's finisher, and it was a nice happy ending in tribute to Pat Patterson. We had Kevin Owens, actually before we get to that, Hamp Connell with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. I appreciate it. Says, my problem is that was the best they could do for a tribute to Pat Patterson. Pathetic. I don't think the match was pathetic. I just think Zayn taking the fall was unnecessary. I think Ziggler could have taken the fall. Even Nakamura, who's not really doing much lately, could have taken the fall in this match. Zayn was like the last person, being the champion, that should be taking the fall. But I guess that goes in line with his fluke champion gimmick. And I mean, hey, the Intercontinental title was founded on a lie, the so-called tournament in Rio de Janeiro. We had Kevin Owens interviewed backstage by Kayla, and he said that he used to respect Roman Reigns for not looking down on people. He used to be one of the boys, but now he has his own locker room, and it's despicable. And Owens admitted he's not perfect. He's done some terrible things, questionable things to other people, but he has tried to make things right with those people. And I think it was Kalisto, one of those Lucha House Party guys, came in wearing a hat and interrupted the interview. I'm not sure what the point of that was. I guess just to get that guy on TV. I think it was Kalisto. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Owens talked about how Reigns is the A word, but he would not say it because he did not want to upset the Fox people. And Otis came in and wanted to say it as well, but Owens had to stop him because you don't want to upset the Fox executives. We had a Sasha Banks and Carmella segment because they've been brawling all these weeks. They were kept in separate rooms. There was a split screen, and basically they were just trash talking each other. Sasha was doing a lot of the trash talking, which she just comes off very heelish to me when she talks. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but when Sasha speaks, she kind of has this arrogance to her, and it's a little bit annoying. It just doesn't come off like a natural babyface, in my opinion. And I almost felt bad for Carmella here with Sasha's trash talking. Sasha said that Carmella wishes she could be Sasha, and Sasha said Carmella is out of her league, and Carmella responded by saying that she, even with half the work, is better than Sasha, and they're nothing alike. She's superior to Sasha in every way. And then Sasha issued the challenge for TLC. Pretty much expected here that this match would take place, and Sasha said she would prove that Carmella has never been in the ring with a badder bitch than her. The bitch line was okay, except that it was already used earlier on the show with Kevin Owens calling Reigns a bitch. So, two bitches, I think it's better with one bitch. This kind of reminds me of the Curb Your Enthusiasm segment with Larry David and Crazy Eye Killa. You don't need two Fs. You only need one F. Use a different word. Segment was okay, but I didn't think the acting was all that great. Psycho Jet Black says Sasha is not exactly a good babyface, but she's always been a great heel. And NXT Scorpio says the segment was all right. We had Murphy with the Mysterio family versus King Corbin in a rematch. At least this week, we have a reason for a rematch. Most of the time, there's no good reason for it. There's just random rematches. But because there was outside interference last week, Corbin had a legitimate reason for a rematch. Shocker. And Corbin had some backup this week. He had former members of the Forgotten Sons. In case you forgot about them, they're back. We had Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. No Jackson Riker, a.k.a. Gunner. He was nowhere to be seen. Probably does not bode well for his future. And Cutler and Blake, they had shaved off their beards, so they had a clean-shaven look. They were wearing these suits with hoodies, something like that. And Murphy got distracted by them more than once. He was thrown over the timekeeper's table. He did manage to make a comeback. However, the Forgotten Sons attacked Mysterio and Dominic at ringside, and Murphy, stupid babyface alert, ran after them, chased them into the ring, got hit with the end of days, and lost. Like, I guess Murphy has so little confidence that the Mysterios can handle their own business. I mean, they were outside in the first place, and, I feel like it was kind of silly, stupid babyface 101, but whatever. King Corbin picks up the victory. And I guess good for Cutler and Blake. They get a second chance here in WWE. Of course, Riker made those comments about Donald Trump, which did not go over well with a lot of people in the WWE locker room. And Forgotten Sons quickly became forgotten about. But they're back now, at least 2 out of the 3. Backstage, we had the Street Profits hyping up the main event. And they talked about how Kevin Owens has a history of turning against his partners and how Reigns is like Michael Jordan now. We then had Bobby Roode and Cesaro each interrupt the segment and talk about why they should be the tag team champions with their respective partners. Maybe we're going to get a triple threat match at the pay-per-view now. That's how it came off to me. And yes, Dr. NXT Scorpio, it's nice to see Cesaro on TV again. He seems to be getting a good amount of TV time. People say Cesaro doesn't get utilized much, but I feel like he is on TV on a regular basis. He's not pushed at a main event level, but he does get the TV time. We had our main event match, which was the tag team match. Otis teaming up with Owens against Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. However, there was no Roman Reigns. And the announcers brought up the consequences line from earlier. Was Reigns punishing Jey Uso for trying to hijack the segment at the beginning of the show. And by the way, they're calling Otis the Blue Collar Brawler, which I guess it's an okay moniker. I really do not have any issues with it. Reigns did show up after a couple of minutes, and he ran into the ring. Instead of tagging in, he just got in the ring and hit a Superman punch on Otis, who was standing on the apron, knocking him off the apron. This was not a DQ since neither guy was the legal man in the match. Remember, as long as you do not attack the legal person in the match, then the match is good to go. Although I feel like that happens all the time where people break up pins and attack the guy who's the legal man when they're not the legal man, but whatever. So the match continued, and Owens managed to fight back against them. He knocked Reigns off the apron, hit Jey with a stunner, and picked up the victory. Dr. NXT Scorpio says Vince should just get rid of that rule honestly. Well, Vince does what Vince does. I don't know if that's going to change, but who knows? He might change his mind tomorrow, and then he may change it back. Calvin Bowman says, why wasn't Lars Sullivan on TV lately? Good question. I guess another toy that Vince just got bored of. So after the match, we had Reigns. Well, actually, let me backtrack here because Owens hit the stunner and he was going for the pin. Reigns jumped in, causing the disqualification. And then after the match was over, Reigns put on the guillotine submission. And Jay, along with Roman, grabbed some steel chairs. They beat the crap out of Owens with the chairs, repeatedly hitting Owens with the chairs. And then a chair was set up on Owens' stomach. Jay did a frog splash onto Owens. And then Reigns attacked his cousin Jay with the steel chair, hitting him repeatedly with it. Very upset at Jay. Then Reigns, he grabbed the Universal title from Paul Heyman and placed it over Kevin Owens and said that Owens is trying to make him a monster in front of the world. And Reigns said because of that, he is going to take Owens' manhood and his livelihood. And Kevin Owens, he has Roman Reigns' attention now. Reigns finished off the promo by saying that Owens' family and Owens himself, they will fear the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Segment was awesome. I loved the ending of this show. Roman Reigns has just been on fire. Best thing about WWE, I say it every week, the momentum continues with it. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, so two non-legal men can use weapons on each other? Good question. I guess maybe one day we'll find out. But yeah, I suppose so. As long as you're not the legal man, it doesn't matter. But shouldn't it matter? It's silly. It's a silly rule. I don't know what else to say to you guys, but I did not let that ruin my enjoyment of the match. The match was an awesome storyline, and I love what's going on with Roman Reigns and the build-up for TLC. Reigns has just been fantastic. Overall, I thought SmackDown was solid. It's been solid. SmackDown has been a very enjoyable show. There were a few things I was not too fond of. You know, I'm still not a big fan of this Mysterio family, Murphy, Corbin storyline, and the whole Bayley thing was very mind-boggling. Like, what the hell's going on with that? But the Reigns stuff was so strong that I'm just going to go again with a solid B for SmackDown. Mostly due to the strength of the Roman Reigns stuff, which did take up a pretty big chunk of the show. So I try to balance out my thoughts, the good, the bad, and come up with a letter grade. Solid B. Michael Wayne agrees with a B. Martin with a B minus. Kim Hall with a B. CC Drink with an A minus. Dr. NXT Scorpio, he said, let me pull it up here. He said, I kind of laughed when Roman attacked Jay with the chair, felt bad for Jay. And going back to earlier, maybe Jay does get fed up. But I think it's going to be Jimmy that comes in and sets Jay straight with the family, and the three of them will be firmly united together. You know, I think they're just trying to keep the storyline interesting for a little bit until Jimmy is fully cleared to return. Corey gives it a B. Calvin Bowman with a B. Brian Spencer with a B+. Dean Martin V with a solid B+. And Dominic Vincent with a B+ as well. So pretty solid grades for SmackDown. Enjoyable show this week, as it usually is. And don't forget, guys, this Sunday we have the NXT War Games pay-per-view. I will be back after the pay-per-view live here on YouTube to recap the show. So please tune in and tell your friends, anybody you know who watches wrestling, even if they're lapsed fans. Have them check out the video. Maybe they'll like it. War Games should be a fun show. Stay tuned for that. And, of course, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Stay positive. Be safe. And I will see you all next time.